years of experience in the field of environmental health and safety, and his major roles in the span of 12 years included health and safety for IFM and asset services, experience in fire and life safety audits, which is a very important audit, as we all realize in the current years with the amount of accidents that were happening in fire. Then environmental compliance audits for buildings and building safety. Then building evacuation procedures, electrical safety, ISO standards in safety and statutory compliance. So Vikram is basically involved in health and safety with respect to any type of industrial or commercial buildings, and he is the person who audits for getting the compliance certificate required for the environmental clearance of the building. So with that small introduction, I will hand over the stage to Vikram so that he can present his slide. I request everyone to pin Vikram's name so that you can see the projected slide. Thanks, Vikram. You can take over.
Ma'am,
Thank you, ma'am.
First of all, I would like to give my hearty welcomes to the students here, and then thanks Mr. Rajesh sir and Prasanna madam for providing this opportunity to just to give you a glimpse of what is happening around the current situation, how things have been taken in for, and what are the strategies and planning, and what are the design factors we need to be prepared for all the post lockdown and the post COVID preparedness. So I'll be just presenting you. This will be a session which will give you an overview of what is happening around the market, as well as what are the things to be required to be followed, and how, as an industry person, how we are tackling this, and what are the requirements and the guidance to be followed, when we start with our operations normally. So I'll just present it now, so that you will be able to understand a glimpse of the preparation what we are doing to overcome these pandemic situations. I hope the this one is visible.
Yes, Vikram, it's visible.
Yeah. So let me start over with this strategic planning and design for preparedness. This is a topic which we are just going to have a talk on. Basically, this gives you an overview of what happens, when there is an outbreak of any pandemic. It could be not only coronavirus, or it could be any H1N1, or it could be the influenza virus, which were outbroke in way back in 1900s. So similar situations, how we are mitigating and how we are be prepared for worst case scenarios. We will give you an oversight of what is happening around, and we will be able to incur what are the things to be taken in for, and what will be our preparedness for overcoming these kind of problems. I will project the next slides. Please let me know if anybody has any queries. We will discuss post this session, and also please let me know if I'm not audible, or if you're not able to view it. Please let me know. We can keep moving it, because there could be a slight delay in presenting the slide sometimes due to network issues. So the session outcomes, understanding the problems related to COVID-19, and the next in is possible measures listed are intended to be helpful and supportive for people who are responsible for preparation of operational downtimes. So are we prepared for any kind of operational downtimes? How we are going to mitigate the problems? What are the mechanisms where we can bring in the all the experts from, as a subject matter experts, bring in people from various backgrounds. It is not only particular to safety, but subject matters from soft services, subject matter experts from sustainability and engineering background, with an electrical background or civil background. Everybody are intended to provide their the requirements for this particular session, because this has been a collaborative effect, or the collective effect of all the people who are in the operational downtimes, how we are facing these current situations. This session will just give you a glimpse on it, and monitoring the area and implementing control measures. This would be the session outcomes. This will give you a broader perspective of how the industry is functioning as of now, and you will also understand the requirement and the strategic measures to bring in into the current market situation, where you can provide this opportunistic way to implement certain things, so that you will be picked up in certain areas where your subject matter is very much important. So the next slide, this is a very current scenario what we are going to give. This source is taken from the WHO website itself. Everybody is aware what is a COVID-19, so I don't want to give a broader insight on it. Um, this is a severe acute respiratory syndrome, and you are aware that SARS and MERS is all widely spread kind of a viruses which is affected globally. So what is the situation happening around? I can give you that 40% of the cases will affected by this pandemic are they have a mild kind of diseases. 40% will have a moderate kind of a disease, and 15% will be like more of experience with severe disease, pneumonia, and 5% with the critical diseases. So if you see the current scenario of COVID, there are some special cases where we consider that person as a asymptomatic or a symptomatic. So the person, when primary contacts in India is through people who have traveled history, which started. And the current situation, what has happened, we have differentiated into three ways. One is mild case, one is moderate, and the third one is a critical case. So whenever a person is having a kind of a fever or a sore throat, we put them into mild cases, because we cannot conclude it within 7 days or 14 days, because the symptoms are very very minimalistic, and we will not be able to project it in such a way that this person is having a COVID-19 or a coronavirus. So this is the current situation as on today. There are like 7,94,179 confirmed cases of COVID-19, including 4,34,796 deaths across the globe. So this is reported from the WHO. If you want to know the current status of all the countries, please do visit the WHO website. It gives all the patterns trending, what has happened, what are the current scenario of, across the globe, how it has been done. All the details has been provided in the WHO website. And for India side, we will go into the next site is the current India sites, insights of current. There have been about 7 lakhs confirmed cases, of which it has been taken into consideration. 3 lakhs 43,091 cases, confirmed cases has been taken, and 9,900 deaths have been reported across India. So this is again, the source is from the WHO website itself. Because we need to be very accurate in understanding the number of cases happening, because if you see out of 3 lakhs cases, we have a person who are active cases and people who have been recovered from that particular pandemic. So it is like we have about 50% of changes of cases where people are able to recover it well. And again, depending on the type of the symptomatic or asymptomatic, any travel history or person in contact, all the details is given in the MyGov India, where you will get the complete details of what is the scenario, what are the things to be noted down, whom you have to reach if any kind of pandemic situation happens. So the next slide talks about the COVID preparedness. I will give you a glimpse of what are all the things we are monitoring as on today. There are companies which have given leniency to work from home. The current situation is like, the people who are in essential services, we do not get opportunity to work from home because we need to be on ground to understand the reality. But to give you an overview, how the industry pattern have changed drastically, whenever you're visiting any of the the commercial places, it could be mall or restaurant, the basic checks are going to be similar, and henceforth it is going to be very stringent. People have to be monitored. Thermal scanning is compulsory. I think many of them would have visited malls or uh, or commercial places where huge gathering happens. We are facing a difficult times because when there is a huge crowd, what will be a response, pandemic response plan, how we are going to mitigate it. All those control measures are in place. You can visit any of the malls in anywhere in the world. What is social distancing, what are the procedures we are following, what are the preparedness what we are going to take, all those things we have given a glimpse on this. So there will be a mandatory thermal scanning. Please, I'm giving you a kind of input on this, because try to understand whenever you're visiting any of the commercial buildings, or whenever you're going for any kind of places where there is a lot of gatherings, there will be a thermal scanning which will be done. And to consider, we have a non-contact thermometers which are available, which will be monitored. Each and individual has to be recorded with their thermal levels or their fever levels. So ideally, the fever levels is for COVID-19 is 99 plus. So anywhere less than 99 is good enough to carry out activities, but be very careful. You have to be very very proactive, understand the situations. Please do not move out of your house when it is not necessary. We request everybody. I know, always say that we are requesting every individual person to ensure that do not move to a crowded places, or unnecessarily do not travel. That could lead to another ILI, or infection related symptoms which can be shown. So first thing is your thermals, mandatory thermal scanning. It is going to be followed in educational sectors going forward. It is going to be part of our life now, because until unless we get the vaccination been into the market, we cannot say this. But continuous monitoring will be done for every person. It could be the college principal, or it could be the security person, or it could be the lecturer, assistant professor, whoever it is. This is a mandatory thing which has been put forth, and ensuring this is a preliminary screening procedures which has to be followed by every individual. So second is your provision of hand wash, and for hand sanitization and hand wash. I do understand that hand sanitizers is not regularly used in homes, whereas I don't use hand sanitizer at home because I do a complete hand wash. We would request every individual who is on the call, be very specific, take maximum precautionary measures. Always practice personal hygiene is very 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 important at this point of time, because 60 to 70% of the cases where we have seen, when we go to different locations to assess the pandemic situation, we have seen that the personal hygiene has not been into the criteria. So personal hygiene is very much important. Whenever you travel from one place to another place, ensure that you're taking utmost care. Come home, take a if you don't have a hand sanitizer, please use soap, normal soap or hand wash soap which is available. Continuously use it for 20-second, 30-second, wash it properly, and dry your hands, and then touch the stuff, because this is a part of our life. Personal hygiene is very very much important, as well as it is been practiced. It has been practiced in India from a longer history. We have a longer history. Why do we do namaste or namaskaram in our country? Because this is the way you can you can be away from people. There will not be any much contact. So this is where you have to be very careful in having a personal hygiene. So to coming into the next one is a mandatory use of PPE. Please use PPEs, personal protective equipments. Whenever you step out of the house, ensure that you use a mask. If you do not have mask, a person like me, I can give you an example. I do travel to the different locations in Bangalore: containment zone, non-containment zone, red zone, green zone, yellow zone. Wherever I go, I ensure that if I don't carry, if I forget to use a graded mask, I take a kerchief, tie it around my mouth and the nose, ensuring that I am protected well. This is the way you can protect yourself. Do not hesitate to use it, because this could lead to another way of getting contracted with the COVID-19 symptoms. So be very specific. Use your mandatory. Please do not take this for granted, because seeing many people across, taking chances is it becomes very related to your behavior. Behavioral problem leads to getting contracted with coronavirus. So please very be specific towards handling the this kind of symptoms. Try to use as much of protective equipments. Girls can use their dupattas to tie around, and then they can go out whenever they are wanting to. And guys, handkerchief is available. You can use it to tie around your mouth and nose, so that you will be protected enough. Prohibiting of spitting, I think everybody around in India, especially in Bangalore and Karnataka, we have implemented strict measures to prohibiting spitting. Going forward, gutka will be banned. We have guidelines which is coming from the Ministry of Home Affairs, where we will not allow chewing of tobacco in any of the places. And consuming food, yes, this is going to be a challenge for colleges and institutional places, because too much of crowd, we will not be allowed. There will be a staggered kind of movement of for people who will be coming into the places and having their food. This is what has been practiced across our offices. There was little challenges. There was a lot of verbal disputes happen. I cannot sit at office and work and eat like this. You're like bringing a lot of difference of opinion. I said that this is going to be the next level of staggered way of entering into the cafeterias, or you're going to hotels. Trust me, the hotel industry is going to be drastically changed. You cannot sit like where earlier, sitting in groups and having Domino's pizzas like students do when there is a birthday party. I'm just giving an example, so that complete history is being changed. We have to be very careful, understand the current situation, and this is going to be the lifestyle of all the industries henceforth. Prohibition of gathering. What we request is, please ensure that whenever you are going, do not go in groups. Avoid social gathering. There will not be much social gathering. More than 5 people will not be allowed to move across. This is the rules which has come from the BBMP, that not more than 5 people can travel together. Whenever you are using restroom, ensure that you use it wisely. Uh, Please understand that you need to you should not get into any kind of sort of contact with any person who has been affected or has asymptomatic kind of symptoms. So be very careful. Ensure that social distancing is very much brought into place. The three best things I can give you is: use your hand sanitizer, wash your hands thoroughly, use protective mask, then stop public gathering or social gathering. Avoid as much of crowd as possible. So this can help us to contain the spread of virus to ourselves and others also. So coming into the appropriate signages, what we use. So there are, like, safety things which we need to use. Social distancing, at least 6 feet we need to 6 feet has to be maintained. This is the distance which the virus don't spread. um, if you see this particular the Excel kind of a thing, this is a contact list which has been provided. It's a state helpline. You can always call the state helpline for any COVID related problems. They will be addressing it in a very systematic way. Trust me, even we had the same problem and we thought, okay, this is a government helpline, what will happen? But they are very professional in handling this. They are taking calls on time. They are ensuring that every query has been answered. You have to be very very systematic in understanding whatever whenever they ask. Please reply to them in a very polite way, because they're constantly on work, and a lot of stress is happening. So and and ensure that you do not spread unnecessary rumors. This is going to create a lot of panicking situations. Understand that spreading of these kind of rumors can put you into a trouble. We have seen people playing around with this kind of situation, and they'll be booked under the Pandemic Act. So we be very specific in giving data or details, and do not spread unnecessary rumors saying that tomorrow would be a lockdown, this could lead to this and all those things. Do not use those kind of a situation where you will land in trouble. So social distancing is the another way you can this is only a concept which we need to maintain, ensuring whenever you're moving to a different locations, please maintain social distance. This is the only way you can avoid people in getting contact with any of the symptoms of COVID-19. Hand wash, again we were saying, say no to sharing. Please always carry your own water bottles. Take your own food. Avoid eating much outside, because this is a situation where we have seen where many of them are in contact with spreading viruses. There were some few cases where one person had delivered through Swiggy, and he was apparently tested positive, and he had to circulate. So avoid much eat, bring your own food. Say no to sharing as of now. And whenever you're leaving the premises, or whenever you are going out and coming back, ensure that you take utmost precautions. Wash your clothes on regular basis, ensuring that the virus doesn't stick onto your body or on the cloths, and it might spread. So be very very spontaneous, be very careful, always be prepared for the worst case scenarios. Again, the waste management is very much important. Please take utmost care whenever you are using a disposable mask, or whenever you are using gloves. uh, as a citizen of India, or as a best citizen, ensure that disposal of garbage is done on a proper basis. Another thing you need to note down is, whenever you're disposing your used gloves or used mask, do not mix it with any other general waste, because this is considered as a special waste, and that will be done on a very systematic way, and this is treated as a biomedical waste. So be very specific. Always ensure that you do not ask questions, or ask your the person who is in the current operational work, where he will know it better. And one more thing I would like to discuss: whenever you are using a hand sanitizer, please do not expose yourself to any of your electrical systems, or do not show your hand front of any heating devices, because that is an 70% alcohol. It might get into flames also, so you might burn your hand. So be very careful in handling the hand sanitizers. So be very very specific. Use little, don't expose directly to a naked flame. Again, it will lead to a land to a trouble. So this is what is the preparedness talks about. I would like to go into the technical aspects. Uh, uh, Before going into the technical guidelines, COVID preparedness, please let me know if anybody has any query. We will have a discussion for 5 minutes before going into the next set of documents, because the technical guidelines, it talks about the design factors. You guys are civil engineers. Going forward, there are a lot of inputs which will be coming into you guys. So you should always be prepared for it. If anybody has any queries on this particular slide, let us know.
Vikram,
Yes, madam.
towards the end, they will write all their queries in the chat box, and we can.
No problem.
Yeah,
No
because
problem.
then time wastage will be less.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
We need to end this by 11, right? So 10
No
minutes
problem.
before 11, we can take the questions.
Sure. I'll do that one. Thanks.
Yeah.
I'll go to the next slide. On the technical guidelines, we are going to talk about the technical guidelines. Understand that these are the strategies and the preparedness, and what will be the design concepts which need to be followed when we starting an operation. We are going into the industry point of view. Okay, this might be helpful for you. What are the guidelines you need to follow, what are the preparation you need to going to be taken, what will be your challenges, how we are going to mitigate this problem, what will be your control measures which you will bring into the session, so that you will be able to understand the requirement and how you are going to start the engineering systems. I can give you an example. There was a recent accident which happened in Visakhapatnam. LG Polymers, everybody is aware of it. Trust me, there was no operational guidelines which was followed. There was no engineering mechanism which was been followed before start of the work. Any work which we start prior of shutting down for a longer period of time, it could be 1 day or 2 days or 10 days. Always ensure that you go through the engineering SOPs or the standard operating procedures, which is very much important. Always take maximum safety precautions whenever you start any kind of a system. It could be even your vehicle starting also 10 days after. What you do, you have a choke system. You kick-start it before you discharge your battery. Why? These are all the standard operating procedures which we need to follow. In turn, not following the proper guidelines of Vizag, that leakage, of not following the engineering controls, this led to a major accident. So people have to be very careful. You're an engineer, going to be an engineer. Always follow the standard operating procedure before starting of any operations. For any start of restarting of engineering systems, we will be doing a thorough inspection before start of work. Then we are going to prepare for the restarting of the engineering systems, and then what will be the operational guidelines and what is the operation set of procedures we are going to carry out. So this will be the three parameters which we need to ensure that that does not go into a bad situation. So first we will be doing is thorough inspection. The second one will be you will be preparing for the restarting of the system, and then what will be the operational control measures you will be putting in, so that there will not be any kind of a accident or incident happening. Since I belong to a safety background, so I give a safety perspective, because this everything is related to a interdisciplinary subject of safety. So we have to be very, very, very careful, understand the procedures, the protocols, follow the maximum guidelines before starting of any work. So the other thing is type of engineering systems we are going to talk about. It is not only the electrical systems, it is also the mechanical systems, hydro systems, pressure water lines, fire protection systems, civil systems, and air quality. Why we have added civil systems? Because that when there is a lot of pandemic happened, there were a lot of man movements which we had to lose. People started migrating from one place to other places, and a lot of losses happened. And there were like outbreak of this pandemic. So inspection is certainly very important. We have to be prepared for the worst case scenarios, and the operational control measures we need to be brought in, so that we are we are prepared for any kind of a situation. So the last one is your air quality, which is very important for us when it comes to an operational point of view when we start up our industries, because the ventilation is very much important in an industry. Ventilation is a key factor for the stopping of spread of any kind of viruses in that. So I can give you the overview of what we are doing in our any technical sector, or whenever you visit any malls or any commercial places where you have a lot of installation of ACs, ductable units, suspended units. Those are all part of key factors where there is a lot of chances of spreading of virus. So we will go into the next slide, understanding the parameters and what are the things we follow and what are the things we are doing to ensure that 100% improvement program is brought into the industry standards. So the technical guidelines, starting with your electrical system, I've given few examples. I'm not going deep into it because there is a restriction of time, as well as you can always get in touch with us on requirement of these guidelines. Electrical systems, we need to inspect all our pumps and motors. Ensure that since you have not used this for a longer period of time, what will be our strategy to start up? We need to do alignment, greasing has to be done, terminal connection tightness, sensor cleaning and working condition, because this can lead to another accident. If we do not follow this basic steps, what can happen? It could lead to another mishap. So we need to be very proactive in understanding, ensuring that carrying out all the pre-checks before starting up of any operation of any equipments. Again, the next one is your HVAC system. This is widely used techniques, and they are very much stressing on HVAC systems, that is your heating, ventilation, air conditioning systems, because this is the way the virus gets spreaded. Trust me, there is fresh air which is available in it. There is a suction and flow of air which is there in your HVAC systems, and it gives you a lot of trouble, for gasping of fresh air, and the virus spreads very fast or instantaneously through this system. So we do draining of lines. If there is contaminated water, we do drain of line joints. Thermostat is very much important in your HVAC systems, because thermostat is the key parameters which we consider. You need to keep your thermostat intact, because that will give you an accurate temperature for maintaining the temperature. If it goes beyond your limited value, then there could be a spread of virus more chances, and if it goes below also, there is a chances of virus spreading. So we have to be very careful in understanding. Again, the cleaning of filters. Cleaning of filters, you have split ACs at your home, or you would have seen split ACs. It has a filter in it. You need to keep your filters very clean and intact, or else there will be a chances of indoor air quality. Indoor air quality gets in a bad situation. We need to ensure that 100% efficiency of cleaning of all the filters is taking place. So partial draining of chill water outlets. This is part of our HVAC systems. Air purging in chiller heads. Checking of cable termination tightness, and duct inspection and cleaning. When you visit a mall, you see that there is a internal AC which is provided across the malls. It gives you a fresh air. These are all part of our HVAC systems. If at all there is no proper cleaning mechanism, or air purging is not been done, trust me, there is chances of contamination of and spreading of virus will be high at this point of time. So we take maximum precaution to ensure that these systems are not in a bad shape, and this could lead to another worst case scenario. So be very careful. you should have a technical knowledge on the basic requirements of HVAC systems. You are a civil engineer. Going forward, you will be also handling the designing part of HVAC system also, where which area you need to give proper ventilation, what is the airflow which we need to give. All these things are part of your mechanical and civil requirements. So it's an all interdisciplinary subject. So every person has to understand the basic concept of these technical guidelines. Coming into the technical guidelines of AHUs and AHU rooms, AHUs is nothing but air handling unit, which is a ductable unit which has been kept inside our office premises. I'm talking about my office premises, giving an example because technically these are the places where people are getting into a lot of problems, respiratory related problems, because your AHU is a source of fresh air, providing you fresh air, because if you do not maintain your air handling unit properly, there are chances that people might get affected. So you do not get fresh air ventilation in your commercial buildings or high rise building where you're working constantly, because you cannot keep your building open. So to keep all these things, air handling units are very much important. They provide you the fresh air by sucking in the carbon monoxide from you and providing a good oxygen. It's similar like a tree itself, where oxygen is given and carbon dioxide is taken. So this plays an important role in controlling the ambient temperature as well as providing a fresh air. So air handling unit must be clean externally and internally before starting it. Whenever we are going to start an operation, when I visit to a facility, I ensure that the facility upkeeping is taken into consideration, because the companies are going to start over by certain companies are going to start over by July end or August first week, because post once occupancy, we cannot do any kind of changes to that facility. So before that, we do an evaluation for this pandemic related activities, ensuring that this technical guidelines is followed religiously, and ensuring that this is done and utmost care is taken for this standards. Planning should be done before reoccupying the offices. I'm giving an office example. Trust me, if one person gets affected in an office and atmosphere, everybody will get affected in that scenario. So there will be an evacuation situation also in that particular offices also. So be very careful, understand the requirements, plan it and execute it before you start occupying the building. Disinfection of AHUs and AHU rooms should be taken approximate 6 hours. We do a fumigation activity, disinfection activity for this particular systems. Before starting up of the AHUs, we do all this checks, ensuring that it is completely clean. We do an air purging, run the AHUs for about 2 hours, 3 hours before starting the office premises, because ensuring that all the dirts inside the ducts, or whatever the mold formation or growth of microbial contamination, all these things will be removed from the source. So disinfection process will carry out before 2 days before occupying the offices. This is a standard procedure we follow for ensuring that safety of every employee, every person who is going to come into work is taken utmost care. We do not compromise on safety point of view, ensuring providing all the technical guidelines to the comfort of every people. So this is what is part of your AHU and AHU rooms. HVAC operations as per ISHRE guidelines. I have attached this document also. You can go through this document, because it is a very simple procedure which is being told upon by the ISHRE. ISHRE is an Indian version of your ASHRE. ASHRE is nothing but American standard for heating related to your engineering concepts. Okay, Indian Society of Heating, Refrigerating and Air Conditioning Engineers. This is what ISHRE stands for. and they have given a guidelines before starting up of any AC or air conditioning unit or heating and ventilation or a refrigerant. This is standard parameters what we follow. Your room temperature should be between 24 and 30 degrees in a commercial buildings or an office building, because these are the standard parameters which been set up by the ISHRE. So you need to have a proper humidity factor also 40 to 70%. Um, you are aware that whenever you go to a coastal place, what will be the humidity? It will be more than 70, so you profusely sweat. If it is less than 40, what will happen? You feel sticky. There's all the humidity control which we need to be very careful, and dry and climatic position also we increase, ensuring that the temperature is maintained atmosphere. So minimum fresh air which we need to give for each person is like 5 cfm. Cfm is cubic feet per minute. So it is a recommended standard that one person needs to have a 5% 5 cfm of fresh air which has to be provided for him for to normally breathe. So we have installed ultraviolet germicidal irradiation for larger units. This is a new concept where any contamination which is seen through UV, it is going to start and start irradiation, and all the unnecessary the coils or units will be getting disinfected through this process. So for reference, I've given ISHRE guidelines. You can read through it. You will understand, okay, what are the things they have been doing in the current market, and this is the protocol what you are going to follow to start up an industry, or it could be in any kind of a sector related to industry. And this is where you can protect your firms from any pandemic outbreak. So coming into the next one, guidance for STP operation. Why I have added this? Because STP is going to be a key area where the treatment facilities, water facility, when we are providing, the person who's going to handle the STP operations, everything will be part of the process. It's an interrelated. Trust me, if a person is working in constant worst situations, what will be his problems related to it, how he is going to stop, how he is going to get affected by this. So we have a implementation in process. It's a COVID implementing hierarchy controls for operating STP. So should keep in mind, whenever you are going to design STP, you need to have an engineering controls in place. There should be an administrative control in place, and last one is your personal protective equipment. So how well you are equipped for designing that particular area. um, if a person is going to get exposed, what will be your mitigation plan for it, what will be your administrative controls you're going to bring for an STP operation. Everything has been provided in the attachment. I'm just giving you a glimpse of it. So after the outbreak of COVID-19, there were a lot of guidelines which came out stating that you need to be very cautious. You need to provide a lot of implementing measures to safeguard every individual who is going to operate any kind of a facility. It could be a worker, or it could be a person working in a bigger position, or a person who is a security guard or a housekeeping person. Everybody is given utmost care when they are coming into work, because every individual life is precious. So we have to be very careful in understanding the requirement. There are lot of changes happened in the control measures related to COVID-19. So drastic changes have been taken place within a span of 1 or 2 months. A lot of heads up has been given to the people trying to address the issues related to this. um, the challenges we are facing, the current scenario, what will happen, what are the measures we'll be taking to ensure that the atmosphere is provided for every person or every individual who's in the preparedness for the COVID-19. So I have attached the guidelines for operating STP also. Risk risk assessment is provided in it. You can go through this document, you will understand the basic concept. Okay, these are the set of parameters what we needs to be checked post COVID-19. Okay, coming into the personal protective equipment, we were just talking about. PPE does not mean provide 100% prevention. You know that that all 100% protection, personal protection will not give you 100% effectiveness, but it just gives you a basic preliminary way to cover and prevent the infection from going above. So, general cloth, what do you do? Use during public areas, used by commuters to office, factory, and back to home. Surgical mask, again, it has been done by the disinfectant person who does disinfection cleaning. The surgical mask, three-ply mask, what we call, cannot be used more than 1 day. Because this is a very thin kind of a mask, which ideally should not be used as per the IS code. So please do not keep using the same three-ply mask which has been worn. It can again cause the infections to you also. N95 mask, everybody knows what is an N95 mask because everybody started talking about N95 mask now, which gives you a superior way to provide protection from any kind of respirable particles. Usually, healthcare person who handles biomedical waste, sewage or the sewage treatment plant, STP operators use this to ensure that it doesn't cause any harm to their health. This is where you can protect yourself. Again, surgical latex gloves for cleaning purpose. You go to any of the hotels or any restaurants, you will see that people will be serving with hand gloves itself. They will not serve it directly in your hand with the naked hand, because there is a lot of personal hygiene is related to it. So there will be surgical gloves which will be worn by them, and they will serve you the food. So nitrile gloves, again, it is used by professionals where they do disinfection cleaners. Splash resistant goggles, yes, again, people who are working constantly with a lot of high risk areas, wear the splash proof resistance goggles, uh, prevent their eyes from getting burned. So this is what we do. Elastomers face shield. There is half face shield is there, full respirator is also provided. Now whenever you go to new places, you will see people wearing face shields. Why face shields is worn is because when a person is monitoring you, or whenever you are trying to get close, and if you by chance you sneeze, that particles will only get attracted um, to the shield, but it will not get inside his uh, contact with his body. So they do all those things, and this is readily available in the market. If you feel that you can use this face shield, you can use it. It's a way to protect yourself from person from sneezing, or purposefully sneeze on you. So this is a way you can protect yourself. This is a personal protective equipment. Coming into the next slide, I just wanted to talk about this pandemic outbreak. Um, I can give you that if a person is affected, I consider like this, and as an example, your classmate or one of your batchmate is affected with COVID-19. What will be your first line of duty? What you're going to do? What will be the preparedness? What are the information you're going to give about the person? Everything will be spoken on this particular flowchart. Um, Earlier, whenever there was outbreak, every area used to be sealed off. Now this is not the case, where one person is affected who's staying in the building, only the building will be sealed off. So similar way, when a person is affected with COVID-19, what we are going to do, we are going to isolate that person from that respective person. We are going to do a disinfection treatment for the entire floor. We will temporarily evacuate that person or the particular floor, ensuring that other people will not be allowed inside the premises. But this is for the worst case scenario. But now we are doing a extensively monitoring procedure. We call it as you have an app called as Arogya Setu. Arogya Setu is now it has been made mandatory, where person who is going to come into the premises will be asked for his Arogya Setu, where he has to provide the Arogya Setu app. It's for smartphones. It will show that how well you're, how safe you're. That will provide you details. And another way we do is if a person has traveled from interstate, inter-district, or abroad, we are asking them to stay back at home for 14 days. We do self quarantine procedures. Compulsory screening will be done, and minimum 14 days he has to stay at his place, and then provide a medical certificate before he comes back to our it could be institution, or it could be educational institution, or an industry. Until that his test reports comes, we do not allow them, and he has to submit his medical records before joining back the office. And we are also getting in touch with all the human resources or the HR people. Whoever has traveled from this particular day to that day will not be allowed at the uh, offices. And also we have something called as rotational basis or rota systems, where if I am from a particular team, I'll be allowed to come to office for only for 1 day or 2 days in a week, and the rest of the 4 days I can work from home, or I can visit to different locations, but I will not be allowed to come to the office as per the rota systems. So this is a overview. What happens worst case scenario? You need to call up 1075 or 104. Whenever you call up somebody, you see that you get that that corona virus ಗೆ ಮಾಹಿತಿಗಾಗಿ ಇದು ನಂಬರ್ಗೆ ಕರೆ ಮಾಡಿ. They will say that. So ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆಪ್ತ ಮಿತ್ರ ನಂಬರ್ಗೆ ಕರೆ ಮಾಡಿ. So all these numbers are available. What you need to do, cover your nose, your eye, nose, mouth. Ensure that you do not touch again back with the same hand. All these things are part of our the day-to-day operations point of view. So pandemic outbreak will give you, for the worst case scenario, when a person is affected or he's been tested positive, we will not allow the person to enter into the office. Any person who is having more than 99 degree Fahrenheit fever will not be entered in to come inside the office. This is what we are taking into consideration. And we do have a self declaration form, where an individual has to declare himself that I have no travel history from past 14 days to 28 days. I don't come from a containment zone. Okay, I don't have any contact with any of the COVID patients. All the self declaration will be done and then permitted inside the premises. This is the worst or the best way you can. It's only the trust factor which we take, ensuring that the flow chart is taken into consideration. Next, strategic objectives. This slide gives you that as per the WHO guidelines, what they say is we have to mobilize all the sectors and communities to take maximum ownership and participate in responsive and preventing cases through hand hygiene, respiratory etiquettes, and individual level physical distancing. This is the way you can bring in strategy to mobilize the spread of COVID-19. You need to bring a control measures. Rapidly finding all the isolating the cases. Appropriate care has to be provided, tracing, quarantining, and supporting all contacts, which will be done by your healthcare people or people who are volunteering themselves. There are some volunteers who are doing this to control the sporadic cases of COVID-19. Suppress, how do? You need to do restrict yourself from traveling from one place to other places unnecessarily. Do not travel to your native if it is in a worst case scenario. How we are going to bring how we are going to reduce mortality rate protecting the vulnerable population by avoiding them getting into other person, providing the medical facility for the rest of the team, and develop safe and effective vaccines and therapeutics that can deliver at scale that are accessible based on the needs. So this will be the last development stage which has been done, ensuring the strategic objectives are taken for consideration, and then you're doing the utmost care. So I'm done with this particular session. If anybody has query, please you can ask us. We are ready to spend a couple of more minutes before we wind up this. Prasanna madam and Rajesh sir, any queries, any requirement which needs to be addressed, we can address that. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, ma'am, I'm done with the session. If any queries or any questions which we need to, to be.
1 minute. Just check the chat.
Yeah, we can ask as a sample basis to 1 or 2 students.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, students, if if there's any queries you have, any questions you have, relevant to what sir has asked. Okay, and since he's an expert in this and he has been giving several presentations all over the country. Okay, so you have the best person and you got the answer from the horse's mouth. So I would request if any students have any queries, you may ask him now. Okay.
Since this topic is little, to understand once you do a practical analysis, only you will be able to understand. But I know that theoretical values will give you an overview of what is happening. But practically, yes, there is a lot of things which you will learn once you are in any of the industry sector when you start working. So you'll get a complete hands-on experience once you understand the requirements. Any queries?
Any questions from any students?
I think.
Can you take over? Prasanna ma'am, if there are no questions, can you take over?
Yeah, like there's nothing in the chat box also. My chat box is not opening. Can you just check your chat box, Rajesh, whether students have put any queries?
I don't see any questions from any of the students.
No, madam. No, madam.
Then I think we can wind up the session. So thanks a lot, Vikram, from Department of Civil Engineering, and from the staff and faculty and students of the department. I hope our students could make use of the information provided by you. Maybe in their personal behavior, or even after they'll have to come back to college, there will be certain norms that they maybe have to follow even at that time. So I hope they keep your guidance in mind. Thank you once again.
Thank you, sir.
So, yeah, before winding up, I would like to thanks Rajesh Gopinath sir and Prasanna madam for providing the opportunity to give you a glimpse about what is the things have been done. Students, stay safe. Take maximum precautionary measures when you travel outside. This is the only way you can be proactive to avoid contact with any of the COVID symptoms. So be very careful, take care of your health, and ensure that